Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're writing code or building products right now, you really need to pay close attention to what we're about to cover. Today, we're unpacking a totally fascinating interview with an expert software engineer, and we're breaking down the absolute urgent mindset shift you need to make right now. We're going to give you the exact builder's blueprint and frameworks required to build AI applications for 2026 and beyond. Because honestly, the ground is completely shifted beneath our feet.
Let's dive right in with a massive wake-up call. Based on our interview, and echoing some recent insights from Andre Karpathy, the guy who helped build modern AI and actually coined the term vibe coding, a lot of the apps you are working on right this second, they might already be dead. Seriously. If you're still building applications the exact same way you were just last year, you are in for a pretty rude awakening.
This massive shift is due to what's being called the December inflection. Around December, we hit this pivotal moment where AI outputs became reliable enough to run end-to-end tasks natively. Instead of developers having to constantly hold the model's hand and correct it, they realized they could just trust it to do the whole job. If you haven't sat down in the last 60 days and seriously tried to build something from start to finish using tools like Cursor or Claude Code in agent mode, you're literally flying blind right now.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with Welcome to Software 3.0, then run through the legacy plumbing checklist, dive into real-world agentic engineering, lay out the 4 builder frameworks, and finish up by applying the 3.0 test.
Okay, Section 1. Welcome to Software 3.0, from handwritten rules to programmable interpreters. Let's start by looking at the foundational shift that is totally redefining our industry.
The evolution here is wild. In Software 1.0, we basically wrote explicit handwritten rules. In Software 2.0, we trained neural networks by feeding them massive data sets. But in Software 3.0, the large language model itself is the programmable computer. Your prompt is literally the code, and the context window is your lever. We are officially moving away from writing traditional SaaS apps that just have a little sprinkle of AI on top. Now we're building ecosystems where AI agents just natively carry out the work for us.
Moving on to Section 2. The Legacy Plumbing Checklist, Identifying Doomed Applications. Let's talk about the very real danger of continuing to build the old way.
In our interview, the engineer shared a perfect real-world example originally highlighted by Karpathy, an app called MenuGen. This was a bespoke, custom-built tool made just last year to translate restaurant menus into visual AI representations of the food. It was really cool at the time, but today, that entire workflow is completely obsolete. You can replace the whole thing by just dropping a photo of a menu into a standard multimodal chat model. The custom app just doesn't need to exist anymore, because all it was doing was orchestrating things that the model can now just do on its own.
So, here is the crucial diagnostic test you need to run on your current projects. Ask yourself right now, could I do this exact same thing with a single multimodal prompt and maybe the right tool calls or a model context protocol? If your answer is yes, then you're just building legacy plumbing. You're basically building a Software 1.0 wrapper around what really should just be a single Software 3.0 prompt. And if that's the case, your app is absolutely going to get consumed by the next major model release. You got to stop, pivot, and skate to where the puck is actually going.
Section 3. Real-world Agentic Engineering. Moving beyond the vibe coding hype. Let's transition from what not to build to how true professionals are actually operating right now.
We're officially moving past the vibe coding era. Look, vibe coding was great. It completely democratized building and lowered the barrier to entry for beginners. But our expert engineer made it super clear that real professionals rely on something else, agentic engineering. This isn't just about throwing prompts at a chat interface until something works. It demands rigorous specs, meticulous context management, extremely strict human code review, end-to-end testing, and solid blockers in your continuous integration pipeline to make sure you aren't just blindly pushing bad AI-generated code to production.
And here's a much-needed reality check from the interview. Please don't feel behind if you aren't running an army of 20 AI agents that are magically making you passive income while you sleep. Despite all the wild social media hype, expert engineers who are actually working on production systems realistically manage a maximum of 3 to 4 agents at a time. That's it, because you still have to give them work, verify what they're doing, and properly review the code before pushing it live. The goal right now is to build secure, manageable agentic harnesses.
Section 4. The 4 builder frameworks, your roadmap for 2026. Now that we know how the pros work, let's explore the 4 highly actionable frameworks you should adopt for your next project. Framework 1 centers around using AI to build a strategic brain for your specific domain. We're all super tempted to use AI just to code faster, right? But the real power is actually using it to enhance your focus and keep you grounded amidst an endless sea of distracting, shiny new opportunities.
And you can literally implement this today. Here are the exact steps to create an agentic strategy document. First, create a dedicated folder in your environment, whether that's Cursor, Claude Code, whatever, just for markdown strategy files. Second, write a really thorough initial prompt that deeply defines your company context, your app, and your overall domain space. Let the agent generate your core strategy docs based on that. And finally, converse regularly with this strategy agent. Because it now deeply understands your context, it becomes an amazing sounding board. It'll tell you straight up if a new project is a massive distraction or a genuine opportunity. It is seriously one of the highest leverage things you can build for yourself right now.
Framework 2 challenges us to completely rethink who we are actually building for. Think about it. The entire internet, from flashy dashboards to DNS settings, was built for human eyes. But this next wave requires us to start stripping away that human interface entirely.
This is a massive, massive paradigm shift. Think about traditional human UI. It's full of emotional marketing copy and complex, multi-step install flows. But increasingly, the user arriving at your site is going to be an AI agent. And guess what? Agents don't care about your marketing fluff. They need Agent UI. You absolutely must optimize your websites by incorporating LLM.txt files. These text files allow AI agents arriving on your site to instantly figure out your API, navigate your product, and understand if it's trustworthy, all without needing a human to sit there and translate it for them.
Framework 3 is all about finding your moat. The large frontier AI models are incredibly good at coding because code is deterministic, it's verifiable. The model knows immediately when it gets it right. But the real world isn't always that clear-cut. So where should you build? Look at these highly verifiable domain niches that the massive AI labs are currently ignoring. By 2026, industries like financial trading, complex supply chain routing, continuous integration, and heavy data cleaning are primed for custom reinforcement learning environments. If you have deep domain expertise in a specific, verifiable niche like these, that is exactly where you should build your agentic systems.
And the final framework, Framework 4, is arguably the most exciting. We have to stop building slightly faster versions of the past. Stop building a slightly faster spreadsheet or a slightly prettier UI for an outdated workflow. We need to build Software 3.0 native apps. These are completely net new things, like vast, incredibly complex LLM-powered knowledge bases that literally could not have existed a year ago because the reasoning capabilities just weren't there yet.
Finally, Section 5, applying the 3.0 test, killing doomed projects early. This is where all this theory hits reality. After running this exact diagnostic test, our expert engineer actually went through their own local folders and immediately killed 3 of their personal side projects. 3 of them. Look, it is incredibly painful to delete a beloved side project that you've spent weekends pouring your heart into, but they realized those projects were merely Software 1.0 plumbing. They were just orchestrating tasks that the next major model release will undoubtedly do natively. Believe me, it is far better to kill those doomed projects now, today, than to ship them and watch them slowly die in a matter of months. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, honestly kind of uncomfortable question to ask yourself today. What is the app you've built or the side project you're working on right now that probably shouldn't exist anymore? What do you need to completely stop building today so you can free up your time and properly skate to where the AI puck is actually going? Take a really hard look at your code base, apply the Software 3.0 test, and start building for 2026.